So this is our last example, and it's trying to show you how you could use rational expressions in like a business setting. So it says, suppose a company manufactures 3D headsets. They have fixed monthly costs. So the manufacturing company has fixed monthly costs of 600,000, and it costs $50 to produce each headset. Write the cost function of producing X headsets. So the cost, you take the fixed cost, 600,000, plus, and then it's going to be $50 for each headset, so 50x. That's just how you figure the cost. Okay, the next part says write the average cost function. So the average cost function, they have a symbol C with a bar over it to show average. So you would take the cost function and you would divide that by how many you're producing. Okay, so in theory, the more you produce, then the average cost is going to go down because you have the same fixed costs, right? Okay, so but you're producing more, so you're going to make more money or spend more money, I guess, manufacturing them, but the average is going to drop. Okay, so that's kind of the idea there. You could think about that a little bit. But to find the average, you figure out the cost per how many you made, which is X. Okay. Now this next part says, I'm going to rewrite this function so it looks a little more like what we're used to seeing. 50x plus 600,000, that is a polynomial, divided by x, which is another polynomial. Okay. So it's a rational function. There you go. And it says evaluate the average cost function at 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000. That's like we're finding ordered pairs. Okay, so first we would do C bar of X. You'd go 50 times, I don't want to write it that way. I'm going to write it mathematically the way we do it. And then in a calculator, hopefully you're learning how to put that in a calculator. Plus 600,000 divided by 1,000. And the math's not too bad on that, but I did do it on a calculator. Anyway, you get 650. So, stop the video and do the calculation. Okay, the next one, that was, I'm sorry, when X was 1,000. So the next one, we're doing 10,000. So you're going to plug that in, 50 times 10,000 plus the 600,000 divided by 10,000. And you get 110. And this is money, so these are dollar signs on here. And then finally, we'll just do it down here. If it were 100,000, so if we're making 100,000 headsets, it'd be 50 times 100,000 plus the 600,000. You put this all in a calculator, divide it by 100,000. Yeah. left out a zero there. And you get 56 is what it turns out to be. Okay, so that's the idea. So think about this cost function that we have up here, this average cost function, and how would that graph? Okay, so let's just think about it a little bit here. If we count by, say, 25, what was our highest cost? 650? So if this were 50, 100, well, 650 is going to be pretty high. 150, 200, oops, 150. If I'm counting by 25, should have made my scale smaller. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm already off, aren't I? Okay. Okay, so I was going by the scale in the book, but they're not even going to have their scale big enough. Okay, so if that was 50, let's see, 100, maybe I had that right. 125, 150, 200. Okay, we'll just go that high. And then down here, we're talking about a large number here. So say we're doing, oh, 8,000 headsets, and then 16,000, and then 24,000, so on and so forth. You could figure all those out, by the way. And then you have to think about, okay, I don't know why we're counting by eights, but 24, and then this would be 32. This isn't going to fit very well. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now, what I wanted to point out though was you know something about things that are happening here. You know there's going to be a horizontal asymptote. The degrees are the same, so there's going to be a horizontal asymptote at y equals 50. Okay, so 50 over 1, and which is 50. Okay, so we know there's a horizontal asymptote like right here. By the way, we know we're not going to have a negative cost and we're not going to produce a negative amount of headsets, so we're only going to be in quadrant 1. What do we know about a vertical asymptote? 0. Okay, so we know we're not producing 0 cost. We're not having 0 cost. Okay, so that tells us a little bit. And then what do we know? We know that when we made 10,000, oh, I'm sorry, 1,000, it was way up at like 650, so it's way up there. And then when we had 10,000, which is going to be like a red there, it's going to be like 110. And then we knew at 100,000, so 64, and then what was this going to be? A little bit more, a little bit more. It was going to be down at 56. So it's going to do something like, this kind of graph, approaching that 50 average cost of 50. Okay, so that's kind of what the graph looks like. There we go. That's really all we were doing.